Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, sure. So again, as the mayor said, at 4 o'clock this morning, we were called to the scene. We did have fire showing from the first floor porch and the windows, which was quickly spreading to the upper floors due to the balloon construction and some of the wood framing in there. It created a very labor-intensive job for our crews because it's made of old stucco and wire mesh. So there's a lot of work that they have to do to pull the ceilings, cut the roof to get it open. So the fire was traveling, up to the second floor. They made a very good quick stop, and after the fire, we had to call the fire marshal and the fire investigator in, receive some more information, and we've turned it since over to the New London Police Department. So I will let Chief Reichard take over from there.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Like the Fire Chief Curcio indicated, my officers working with the fire marshal's office found that it is an arson. So we are actively investigating arson right now of this occupied structure. We recently released the name of the person that we believe is a suspect in this fire. We don't have probable cause for an arrest yet, but we want his name out there so people know, if they know who he is, and he can have him turn himself in so we can question him related to the fire. The name is Timothy Settles. Timothy Settles. He's a 32-year-old African-American male. He is approximately 6'4", 240 pounds, and he's got some type of scar on his forehead from photos that we have. So we are actively looking for this gentleman to talk to him about this fire.
Chief, is this connected to Norwich dog attack of an infant?
The information we have minimal on the Norwich. We've been in contact with investigators and the Chief's office from Norwich Police Department. Mr. Settles is the father of the infant who was killed in Norwich by the dog, correct?
Chief, can you talk about it?
We're working on that right now. We don't know if he has a connection or if there's a family connection to this building.
Mr. Settles from New London? Or?
We don't have Mr. Settles as listed as a New London resident, no.
He left the scene before people could get here, before officials could get here?
Pardon me?
He left the scene before officials could get here?
He was not on scene when fire and police arrived, no.
Why is he someone of interest in this fire? What is, that?
Information we received is he was the last person who was at the door prior to the fire starting.
In the middle of the night?
In the middle of the night, correct.
And is this a relative's home, Chief?
I don't have that information offhand.
It's a two-family home?
Yes, it's a two-family structure, correct.
Do you know the person who was transported to the hospital, if they're related to him at all?
I don't have the information of the transported victim.
How many people live in the home, Chief?
Six.
Six?
Two on the first floor, four on the second.
What does it look like the fire started first or second?
The first floor.
Chief, have New London detectives gone up to Norwich at this point?
New London detectives have been in contact with the Norwich police investigators, yes.
Have they talked to anyone at the home in Norwich?
I'm unaware of that. I'm unaware. It's still the ongoing investigation right now, so it's only a couple hours old for us at this time.
And just to be clear, you guys don't have an arrest warrant for Mr. Settles, just one
We do not have arrest warrants for anyone. We don't have probable cause to arrest anybody at the present time. He's just a person of interest because he was the last one at that location just prior to the fire being started.
Chief, is there, can you tell us any reason why he was here last night, why he came here?
That's going to be part of the in-depth investigation that we can't release any information on.
Was the fire started on the outside of the home or the inside of the home?
Inside. On the front porch.
And the woman who was brought, what can you tell us about her? Was she from the first floor, the second floor, or her age, or anything like that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The woman who was brought to the hospital, is she from the first floor, the second floor?
She's from the second floor, but all of the residents in the home were out. The people on the first floor were not home at the time. They exited out the back of the house because the fire stopped their egress from the front of the building. So they were out in the driveway, and I just believe she just became overcome with emotion. She's owned this house for quite a long time, so we transported her to the hospital for observation.
And you don't know her relation to Mr.
I do not, no.
She got out on her own?
They got out on their own. They went out the back.
Everybody got out, and
Yes.
she went out with the first floor people, okay.
And all six were home, but they all got out.
Four were home at the time on the second floor. I don't believe anybody was home at the time of the fire on the first floor.
Are there any known past calls or history of calls to this address or any relations between Mr. Settles and the police department?
We do not have any information on settles in this location within our history.
At what time did the fire break out, Chief? Did you get the call?
4 o'clock.
And do you know how the fire was set?
Not yet, no. They're still investigating.
It is being classified as an arson because it was intentionally set, but the fire marshal's office will determine the cause of the fire and the origin of the fire. That'll be part of it. Eventually, if it goes to an arrest warrant, it'll be part of the arrest warrant package.
And knowing just the circumstances, what you were able to confirm for us with this connection to Norwich, this is obviously a tragic situation. Is there anything you can say to that nature?
It's tragic. From the information I received, what took place in Norwich was just a tragic accident with a pet. I don't know anything about the dog, or I don't know anything about the family or what actually transpired there, but the minimal information I got from Chief Daly from Norwich is it's just a tragic accident that took place involving the dog and the family.
Will surveillance video be helpful to you in this case?
Any crime we investigate, we always look for any type of video footage that we can get from the neighborhood or from city cameras or businesses. And what we would do is we locate anything, we would piece it to see if this person is actually in the neighborhood at the time, and use that as evidence towards it. But it's one of their standard procedures that all investigators do at crime scenes, yes.
Is the home a total loss?
No. No, it's contained to mainly the first floor entranceway and part of the second floor hallway and some of the walls and the roof. We had to open up the roof also.
Is there information that Mr. Settles had been inside the home or just came to the door and he was arrested?
I think we're looking at the enclosed front porch, where he was on the enclosed front porch in the area where the fire started.
And that's where you can knock on the door from the second floor?
Correct.
And was that the first time that you believe Settles was here that night, or had he come earlier in the evening?
I don't have any information about that.
You have the age of the owner, just so we
I do not. No.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, everybody.
So-
Thank you.
Kevin needs you live on Channel 3.